on la vie. No.
Good morning,
Black
Comic
Lord.
Put all that up. All right. Listen, we were doing a Black Comic Lord show this morning, and all of a sudden, the show went off air. So we are back in full effect. I'm glad that you guys are checking back in with us. We got about 30, me and Dion was about 37 minutes in, and all of a sudden everything just went black. Your boy always constantly had the technical difficulties, man, but I promise you, it was not about the internet. It was me. I accidentally hit the end stream button. So on my way home now from work, and one of my coworkers shared something with me very interesting. But before we get into that, let me just kind of give you guys a heads up of the different things that we are going to be discussing on this evening. We are going to be talking about LeBron James. We are going to be talking about some dope comics that had some good sales for this week. We're going to be talking about the terrorists. We're going to be talking about Stan Lee. We got a lot of things to talk about. I'm going to try to keep it under 1 hour. Black History Fact, real quick. So those of you who are familiar with the church, specifically the Baptist church, you might be aware of this one. When you used to be, I would say most of the Baptists, when you get up in front of the church or you're moving, you're leaving, you're going to the bathroom, or any type of movement that you're doing while the pastor is up preaching. Lady told me that, you guys will have to verify this on your own, but lady told me today that when you hold up that one finger and you walk around the room, it was supposed to be signifying another way of saying, excuse me. She told me today that comes from slavery. That has nothing to do with like church culture. It comes from slavery, when slaves would have to excuse themselves from amongst, I guess, their masters. So I got to do some history on that. I know there's also some history on hush puppies, how they were used to hush up dogs while slaves were trying to flee and run across the Underground Railroad. But I know I have a friend that is going to listen to this video. He's probably shaking his head because he's a historian. He's probably saying to himself, man, that is not true. But if you heard that, those two alleged rumors about those holding up the finger while in church, how that came from slavery, or hush puppies, that came from slaves carrying like cornmeal and different things. They would ball it up. And as they would flee from dogs, or as they would be on the run, they would throw that out on the trail to hush the dogs up from barking and giving away their position. Some people even cite that slaves would use those just as this extra meal and food on their journey to escape slavery and head up north. So thought that was interesting. I had that conversation on my way out. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So yeah, we're going to be talking about a couple things. Like I said, we're going to open up with, we have some issues in basketball. Definitely am going to get into the comics. We have some issues. Apparently Stephen A. Smith, from what I saw, has been talking some shiggity about LeBron James' son. And LeBron didn't like that. And it's been going on for a while, but Stephen A. Smith has some choice words. He does not believe that Bronny James should be in the league. A lot of fans have said you only got in because of your father. Now, this is going to segue directly into what Anthony Mackie is going to. I'm going to show you what Anthony Mackie gave I don't want to call it a hot take, but he had a take that for some people was refreshing and it sparked dialogue. And I know he is the current Captain America. He has taken heat for several different things that he has said this year. But this one has really, I don't want to say has been controversial, but it has challenged the way that a lot of people have been taught, or the line of thinking that a lot of people come from, specifically myself. But back to LeBron, we all know that the reason why he got into the league is because of his father. My father was the principal of my school, and so if I ever needed some extra whatever, it was easy for my dad to pick up the phone and call those teachers to kind of give me an extra boost. So I benefited from that. Bron has benefited from his dad being the face of basketball. But with that comes, you know, you gonna get hit by Stephen A. Smith. He is probably the biggest mouth in sports as far as commentary, and he's getting. I think he just signed $100 million a year deal, not a year, but a big check, right? He just signed a big a deal with ESPN. So Bron has never been like outspoken about Stephen A. Smith towards him because he knows it comes with territory. But as a father, he confronted Stephen A. Smith, who was courtside at the Lakers' last game, and he basically came up to him. I'm paraphrasing, man. Yo, man, keep my son Bronny out of this. It's SHIT. And a lot of people was like, oh, that's cowardly. You know, grow up, Bron. Bron's a baby. A lot of people like, oh, well, Stephen A. Smith, you know, he's a, you know, you can't be talking about people's kids. So it's kind of, it's weirdly dividing people. But listen, it comes with the territory, man. On the other hand, you know, there's been people that have came out, Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh Sanders. Well, specifically Shiloh Sanders because Shiloh did not get invited to the NFL Combine. But Deion always takes blows and jabs. Like, he takes it right. I don't know if LeBron is taking this right. Now, Deion is in a different place. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's got a jacket. He is arguably one of the greatest defensive players we've ever seen. LeBron is probably going to be a first ballot, blah, 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 blah. But it's his kids, it's his boys, and he put a lot. He basically dropped his nuts to put Bronny out there. And Bronny hasn't been looking great. I think Bronny could have, so here's my take. I think Bronny could have benefited. I'm going to be real quick on this one. Bronny could have benefited from, you know, playing a couple more years at a better school. He might have been on the bench, so that's probably why they pulled him from USC. He had a life crisis that was going on, but LeBron used his influence to get him on his team, and he probably said, hey, yo, Lakers, I'm going to take care of my son. He going to be right. The only way I think you're going to be able to reverse course with Stephen A. Smith and other, I don't want to call them detractors, but other people like the Stephen A's of the world is that your boy going to have to step up. Maybe even in the playoff game, shooting a clutch three or playing some good defense. Then people are going to say, oh, okay, well, he's developing. He's about to go into year 3. This is year two right now. He's going to develop. So I think we will hear that. So that's enough about LeBron. Another little Black History fact that I think anybody over 40 probably knew, had a clue about, but we have this lady right here. Probably, I can arguably say, the first Black actor that had anything to do with Marvel Studios. Her name is Chip Fields. Now, this is the mother of Kim Fields. You know Kim Fields from Living Single, and it was another show she played on in the 80s. Well, she actually played Rita Conway, who was basically Gloria Grant from the Daily Bugle in the Spider-Man universe. This is way back when Spider-Man had his TV show. I think it did 2 seasons, only 12 episodes. It got canceled. It wasn't great, but it was brave for its time. Superhero movies and television shows. Granted, you had the Incredible Hulk. You had Shazam had a TV show. Superman and Star Wars were still, you know, getting. I think Star Wars might have that 77. Yeah, I think Star Wars might have been out. But as far as like superhero major motion pictures, people taking them serious, it really wasn't a thing. So shout out to her. And before you say, oh, what's the significance? According to Marvel, she was actually low-key a love interest of Peter Parker back in the day. Now, they never kissed. They never really officially went out on a date, but the vibes was there. The energy was there. So this is a printout of all of his early love interests, and she's the Black girl to the far left. Now, she was the first Black girl to kind of be set up in this role. I know Misty Knight. Now, she also appeared in 1974. This was a year before Storm, kind of in between Misty Knight, because we know Misty Knight first appeared unnamed in Marvel Team Up #1. I think that was in 72 or 73 or something like that. And then she was named in 1975. She doesn't have any superpowers. She has been like in and out of some drama with different men on the in the Spider-Verse, but Other than that, man, really, really dope character. I do have our first appearance. I want to say it's ASM 140. Definitely a book that you definitely should go and pick up. What else there was? There's some other pictures of Gloria Grant right here, and she was also in the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon. Couple of books that are on sale right now on eBay that I don't want to really say they're hard to find, but this is a crazy price for this book. This is Chocolate Thunder #1. Now I don't think this is his first appearance, but this book always draws a premium. This book came out, I believe, 98 or 1999, and it was from Ghetto Sakes Comics. And I have volume 2, issue 0 or #1 of volume 2, but this book is, when it pops up, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, this book will not be here in May. It will be gone. It will be sold. I can guarantee you. Now, it does say best offer. I'm thinking it will be sold at least minimum for like at least $300. This book will go like, okay, so you're probably wondering, what makes this book important? There is really no importance to the book. I think what sells this book is the name, Chocolate Thunder. But this book always draws. I've seen this book go as high as $500 on eBay. Now, in this economy, I'm still going to push that it's going to probably hit about $300, but I'm a double down. I'm pretty sure it's going to hit for a minimum of $300. There's going to be there's a lot of people already right now probably email him. I've never read this book. It is not available online that I know of to read, but it's just one of these books, kind of like Black Man, the comic by not Larry Fuller. God, what is his name? Tom Floyd from 1981. Like, just an ad book, just a pitch book for somebody to pick up. But that book is, I don't want to say the book is hard to find, but that book always draws a premium. And it's mostly because of its name. And it was an independent Black comic book. And at the time, those books just wasn't running rampant all across America. So this is a dope book. If you see it, I would hit the guy up. This is on eBay. Negotiate your price. I definitely, if you can get him down low, then great. But I don't think you are. I think this guy knows what he has by this price. Again, there's the significance of this book. There's really not a whole lot of information on the significance. All I know is that it's always draws a stinking premium. Kind of switching gears, we're gonna get to Anthony Mackie in a minute. Couple books that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to West Coast Avengers. When this book comes out, I believe in June. Now, when it first dropped, listen for this. This was the Marvel versus Capcom variants, and they didn't drop War Machine. I almost think like they had the whole Captain America, Storm, but they didn't drop War Machine. I was like, bro, y'all got Venom, Spider-Man, Ryu, everybody, all these covers. What happened to War Machine? They didn't drop it. I think they just forgot about your boy. Kind of like Armor Wars. They just forgot about him. And now I guess they've said, hey, we'll put him on the West Coast Avengers cover since he's a part of that team currently, and we're going to get this cover. So I'm definitely can't wait to go pick this up. Hopefully the terrorists don't hit us and I got to pay an arm and a leg. I got to pay $6, $7 because I definitely will not be doing that. But War Machine is definitely top 5 all time for me. Top 5 Black superhero all time for me. I just love it. You know, as a kid, I was an Iron Man fan before Robert Downey Jr., before people thought he was just a C-D-list character. He's always been an A or B character to me, played him in the video games. But when War Machine was in the video game as a kid, that was like one of the king characters. He showed up in the cartoons in the 90s. These were some of the things that attracted me and the people from my generation. So, next topic. We're talking about Stan Lee, man. So, unless you've been on the rock, this has also made a lot of rounds on social media as well. Stan Lee has a new documentary coming out. Well, I wouldn't say Stan Lee does, but his assistant has one. It's talking about the final days of Stan Lee and how he was exploited. There's some footage that they got going out around right now on social media of him basically asking, when is this going to be over? Because, being Stan Lee, means that you're 90 something odd years old. You don't control Marvel anymore. You're basically an elderly man. You might have some signs of dementia. What people would do is that they would drag him tired, said, I don't want to say sedated, but like tired, just weirded out to some of these cons and just make him sign shields, comics, posters, whatever. That is why there is no unlike Jack Kirby, you're not going to find a ton of Jack Kirby signatures out there, but there's Stan Lee said signatures all over the place. And there's pictures of Stan Lee like half asleep, taking pictures with folks. His fingers and hands is hurting from signing so many autographs on stuff. And at a point, he was really tired. He was exhausted. But this is also how he had to make a living, unfortunately. And it's also how he paid some of his bills. And what people would do is that they would charge a ton of amount of money for him to go out to some of these cons. They said that they would take advantage of that, take majority of his money. And people would basically like, you're dead anyway, so let me just take advantage of it. So there's some footage out there that's going around. Just type in Stan Lee documentary. It's sad, man, because without Stan Lee, obviously we don't have a lot of the Black Marvel characters that we see today. And Stan Lee, another thing about Stan Lee, a lot of people don't know, is that Stan Lee was with Timely Comics. Timely Comics kind of was like messing up. Everybody quit, and he basically turned it into Marvel Comics and ran it himself for a while. Jack Kirby was actually his mentor. When Stan Lee was a teenager, Jack Kirby was working for Timely Comics. And he took him in as an apprentice. And so now we fast forward to, I believe, 2016, 17 when he passed. There was even allegations that they had these blood signatures where they took a little bit of his blood and put it in the ink, and he signed some of these books. They were supposed to bring Hideout up. We don't know. I haven't seen any other information on that. But if that is true, man, that is really, 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 really sick, man. And I hope it's not, but it's really sick. But definitely go give this a watch. Another book that I'm interested in seeing, just because of this cover, freak, you got Storm and Captain America on this cover, West Coast Avengers. I think I read the first 2 episodes. Ultron is supposed to be an Ultron 2 who's supposed to be a big bad in this. I got to check out West Coast Avengers. Nobody's really talking about it around the BCL or BSF communities, but we definitely got to get this book a look-see and things of that nature. So what we're going to do real quick is that we're going to transition over to some commercials for you guys, and we'll be right back.
When you go to an art museum and you see pictures on the wall, what do you think? I can tell you that a picture cannot audibly speak anything. Yet you will be challenged to find something, however, that doesn't speak louder. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. That is how I justify buying Black books at times solely for their covers. Sure, I would love for the story inside to be amazing. I would love for the writing to capture my attention and hold my thoughts for ransom. Yet I have experienced a world of story in an image. I am drawn in by drawings and pulled in by paintings, not having an inkling of the message communicated by the ink. For my mind has made up its own mind, and it has told me it does not care what the artist creates, for I, a created being, see me in the work. I see my babies, I see my ladies, I see my brothers, I see my fathers, I see my people, I see my equals, I see everything and anything and something completely different from you and you too. We see the same shapes and colors, but not the same images. Beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder, for I beheld a canvas that canvassed my heart and mind, giving me peace, giving me sadness, and giving me anger, giving me love and giving me hope. So when I see comic books with a face like me, I see a story, where half the story has yet to be told, because truly it can't. After all, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Richard Wright for knocking that down, man. Shout out to Richard Wright for knocking that down. Listen, you can check out Richard this Sunday. He'll be on 9 p.m. You already know what it is. So check him out. We're gonna actually do a show, a double hitter on Monday. Right now, actually, you know what? Let me back up. I might be able to squeeze out a show this Saturday. I got a guy, another YouTuber that reached out to me. We'll see. I'll get with the team and see if they want to jump on. But let me get some stuff confirmed. But I'm definitely for sure going to do a show on Monday night and maybe another midday show on Monday. I'm trying to add some more content to our wheelhouse as much as I can because my schedule is so crazy. So a couple of days ago, Anthony Mackie was on the Pivot podcast, and they were talking about, how can I say this? They were talking about just basically how he got to where he is being Captain America, and he has a long, lengthy backstory of going to some of the best theater art schools and really honing to his craft. But for him, he spoke a lot about longevity, being in the game for 25 years, and he spoke about how to diversify his portfolio. When people pull up, black faces, black artists that haven't been blacklisted, that are surefire actors, he's one of them. And people might not like some of the things that he has said, but Mackie has stayed busy for a long time. He has been in movies for a long time, and a lot of it is mostly being side roles. And now this role, he is the lead character, so I appreciate him having that opportunity. Speaking of opportunity, I want you guys to watch this clip, and this is off the Pivot podcast. And he makes mention to opportunity, and we can have a little dialogue and see if you guys agree. If you catch this later on a different rewind, definitely, please like, subscribe, and make sure that you put how you feel down in the comment section. All right, here we go.
I've been in the business 24 years, right? And I've seen people go from nothing to the biggest stars in the world. I've seen people go from one role to winning Academy Awards and doing all this shit. And what I realized yesterday thinking about it, we're lying to our kids, dog. And I think that's a big problem in our community. We tell our kids that and this is fresh on my heart. Like I literally just came to this conclusion last night. We tell our kids if they do right and they make the good grades and they go to the programs and they will become successful. If you work hard enough, your work will be paid off. And that's not true. Success is given. It's not earned. Because you can be the most brilliant. If one person don't tap you, each one of y'all. There were people who could hit harder, who could catch better, who could run faster. But somebody said, you're the one. And the other 50 behind you fell off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And because of that, I don't know what that emotion or that feeling is the scary thing. Because I went to all the programs. I've done Broadway. I've done off-Broadway. I've been in the business 24 years. I've been in 2 Academy Award films. I've done independent films. I've done major motion pictures. Now I'm Captain America. So now what?
Hold up. Limitless. Niggas to me cap pinning it. I fought the head to witness it.
So, great take. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was, at first, I slightly said, man, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Because I've been taught hard work pays off. Cream rises to the top. But then I had to say, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. He's right. I might not like how he puts it, but he's right. Ultimately, you have to work hard to put yourself in the best predicament situation as much as possible to be seen, so that your stuff can be shown, so that you put yourself in the best opportunity to be seen, to be selected. Um, I know, at being a former high school and college football athlete, some kids, just because of their good size, just because of the way they look, they're gonna get some looks. I had a guy that was on the bench, but he was like 6'5", 320 something pounds. South Carolina was looking at him. He wasn't even a starter. And I'm sitting behind him, got a shoebox full of Division II or Division III offers. And so it's like, bro, I can't get a Power 5 offer, but I play. But I've told Dion this morning, I'm 5'10", 219 pounds at the time, playing defensive line. What Division I Power 5 school wants to pick me up? Anthony Mackie. So what are you talking about? Anthony Mackie had an opportunity one day to do a monologue. They said bring just 3. He brought 15 of them. And he said he's so glad that he did that, because he wanted to be prepared on top of being prepared on top of being prepared. Because he said a lot of the guys that auditioned ahead of him got those 3 monologues, and then they said, well, we don't really like that, do something else. They didn't have anything prepared and ready to go. He had 15 of them. And it was some of them that the folks actually knew. He talks about this. Y'all should go back and watch the Pivot podcast. I probably got a little bit of that. I'm paraphrasing here and there. But preparation and hard work and opportunity, when that's mixed into the same pot, something great is bound to happen. The part where he's talking about we're lying to our kids, I think it's almost like biblical to a certain extent, because we say God knows my heart and we'll do something. Well, God knows my heart. God does know your heart, and that's what makes you should be more afraid, because he does know your heart. And just because you have the best intentions, it doesn't mean that you, in your mind, they were the best intentions, but they could be backed by something horrible. So we have to be careful of how we do talk to kids. We have to make sure that they're the best version of them. Like, I'm never going to be an actor like Anthony Mackie. I'm never going to be a king of Wakanda. I'm never going to be better at Paul or Richard than being Paul or Richard. It's not going to happen. Wasn't designed to do that. And everybody has a peak. Everybody has a capacity. And I'm never going to be better at basketball than LeBron either. But LeBron's never going to be better at raising my 2 daughters than me either. Everybody has a role they have to play. You got to find out what your purpose is. And I think most people will, and I saw people in the comment section going back and forth, yada, yada, yada about this, but it's really about fulfilling your purpose. Mackie's purpose is to become an actor. My purpose is to lead people to Christ. My purpose is to not troll and help people with laughter. My purpose is, I work with children and family every day. My purpose is to help children and family. It's so many different things as a part of my life. Acting isn't one of them. That's not what God has called me to do. Some people are comedians. That's what God has called them to do. And I think we have to, once you figure out what your purpose is, I think everything else falls into place. Then you can pursue that. Then those pursuits make sense. Then you put yourself in the best position to win. I thought, like a lot of youth growing up in the late 90s, in high school, my goal, that was my goal. But my purpose wasn't to play in the NFL and play running back, running a 4.7. That was I'm going to be like Sean Alexander or Emmitt Smith. No, that wasn't my purpose, because I wasn't equipped for that. And I think you can equip yourself and make yourself better at certain craft. How many indie bros are in our space that are trying to get their book to take off and excel the way that they want to go? Some guys will never make it. Look at the guy from Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer. It seems like every time you look up, he's got his film is being optioned. He's got a new. He's got a. I believe he's got like something that's been optioned, or a script or a movie deal. Can't think of the book, and the book hasn't even been created yet. It made news. It was on national news, Screen Rants. Everybody covered it. This is Cronson. That was done. It was the creator of Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. Some guy now. You can look at that and say, "Dang, man, it's like everything he touches turns gold," but you don't know what he's been doing for the last 15 years of trying to build that brand, trying to build that IP. So we can't also take people's hustle for granted. We cannot take people's hustle for granted. Listen, as a content creator, like we are, we got like 4,000 subs over here and some change. Over on our Facebook group, we got we got 76,000. Right? Easy come, easy go. We worked hard to get those 76, but it seems like we got to work 20 times hard to get our subs up. You know, that certain things are easier, certain things are harder for folks. In the last 4 years, we was able to grow that group. Some people can't even get 500 people to join their group and to even talk to them. There's some people on YouTube that don't be talking about nothing. They got like 50K subs. So everybody's got, but what's your purpose? What type of work are you putting in? Are you putting in the right work to get the right results? Or are you just in your head? Do you need to get out of your own way? There's a lot of people that I look at that's making content that's like, bro, you only got 400 subs, bro. You're better than us. Your quality is better than us. Your sound is better than us. Your video quality is better. You've been doing this longer, but you're not able to scale the way we're able to scale. You know, everybody's been given a certain amount of favor, and favor is not fair. Certain amount of grace when they do stuff, man. So yeah, man, I totally get. Sometimes we do lie to our kids. We do tell them you can do anything you set your mind to. And those things sound good, and we want to promote. We want to push kids. But I think at the end of the day, you also have to be chosen. You also have to be picked. That is a part of the algorithm. That's a part of the math. But we don't speak on that because we want our destiny to be, I don't want to say this. We want our destiny to be pushed through our works and our effort. You know, we're saved by grace. If you believe in God, you believe in Christ, we're saved by grace, not even your works. Nothing you can do can get you into heaven. It's only your grace. Only God's grace. Now, that doesn't mean that we just live and do what the heck we want to do, but ultimately, we got to be chosen. God got to come and say, well done. No matter what, no matter how many babies we save, no matter how much we give to the poor, ultimately, man, we save by it's we have to be chosen. But we still need to put the work in. That doesn't mean we don't put no work in. So it's an interesting, it's not a hot take. Like my man, like I said earlier, it's not a hot take. It's just something I think that we got to put into perspective. I'm saying he's right. He could have put it a little better. But yeah, man, those are just one of the things that was on our mind this morning when our show got cut off, unfortunately. So I just wanted to take out the time to run it back. That's why I'm calling this a BCL. Let's run it back from this morning. And that's all we were really talking about. But switching gears one more time, we had another, can I say this was a good sale? For a woman that has had the history of this lady, going from being still, I think, one of the most powerful Marvel characters ever, given her power set and what she can do. And Marvel has also said that she's immortal. Monica Rambeau, 9.8 first appearance just sold for $239. Now, I remember this book going for about $2K during the pandemic. So her book has fallen a little bit. Definitely an easy book to acquire. Unslabbed, you can get this book for $30, maybe even 15, in a solid copy. 15 to $30, you can get you a solid red hot copy of this. Definitely is a mandatory book to have in your collection. Definitely something you need. I think one of the things that I want to do on this show is get back to getting people to continue to buy and own parts of this IP. I think it's so important that we own a bit of this IP. I think you guys lost me. My bad. I just think it's so important that that we just get a part of this IP, man. We were able to buy and own a big chunk of the IP. It's so very important. Switching gears here one more time. I think I got another book on here that we can talk about. Let's see, what is this? Oh yeah, this is the first appearance. This is on BCL. We talked about um, Kim Field's mom that played basically Gloria Grant, but she went by Rita Conway on the show. This is her first appearance of Gloria Grant, which is Amazing Spider-Man 140. Definitely go and pick this up. If you guys can just go to BCL, just type in Gloria or just type in Grant, and you guys will see it. Let's take a look. See here. What else do we have? Black Comet Lord variant of the day. We got the Avengers. What is this? 270. So this is something that we did today with Falcon, being a member of the team, and him taking out Fire-Lord. This is originally Amazing Spider-Man 270 when Spider-Man shocks the world by taking out basically an ex-herald of Galactus. So I replaced Spider-Man, carefully replaced Spider-Man with the Falcon. And RIP Falcon, because we will probably never ever see Sam Wilson suit up in his Falcon garb ever again. You can check this out if you want to save it on your phone as a wallpaper, what have you. I've seen a couple of these BCL variants on Pinterest and across the interweb. So pretty cool piece that we put together today. Shout out to Anthony Mackie. We did say that the film flopped, but something can change, and I want to address that too. People, when we talked about it a little bit, people were saying, "What do you mean it flopped? It made over twice its budget." It's sitting comfortably at $370 million. What people, I don't want to say fail to realize is the reason why Black Panther, the reason why I want to say Multiverse of Madness, but some of these other films, even Shang-Chi, let's talk about the reason why Black Panther wasn't a financial flop. Black Panther, I think, is budget. Now, granted, what it was able to do for the culture, like there's hardly anybody that's going to say it was a flop movie-wise. But financially, you could argue, but you can't with Black Panther because the budget was less than $200 million. I think it was $200 million or less, right? But then it took home $4 or $3 billion. So it made 3 to 4 to 5 times more than the budget was. And this is talking about the theaters. This is talking about marketing and everything that they put out there. So it made so much money, the discussion never came up about, well, is it not just going to break even, but is it going to break the reshoot costs? Is it going to break the marketing costs? Listen, if you were on social media in February, you could not go anywhere on Facebook without seeing Sam Wilson. That stuff costs. Facebook charges for that. They're not in cahoots with Disney, like, oh yeah, we're going to give you guys free marketing. That stuff costs. And not just there, but also on television. Also at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl committee, they charge big bucks for Marvel to show up with their characters on and for anybody. If I want to do a commercial during the Super Bowl, that's a multi-million-dollar contract, bro. So they spent a lot of money. So people are projecting. It seems like folks keep moving the goalpost back further and further. But they originally was like, oh, it's got to be over $1 billion. It was like, okay, that's just probably the biggest in the race. Don't want this film to do good. And then people was like, oh, it's got to be 6 or 7. Show me the math. Now people are comfortably parking anywhere between $400 and $500 million. Now, the film looks like it costs more than $180 million. Mackie took 10 of that because he took a $10 million salary just for that film. Harrison Ford took a couple $1 million as well. The action scenes, the actors, they probably didn't pay them a little bit of much of nothing. All the other, Esposito he had to at least made 2 to 3, maybe, because he's such a big name and he came in after the fact to save them. So I'm thinking you at least, that's you got to cut that off. And all the marketing that they was doing from an international standpoint, the touring, dollars and cents and those coins add up. I'm thinking if he does 400, I think in a couple of years people will stop calling it a flop because they'll say, bro, and if he makes 5 somehow, somewhere, I think they can push for 5 if they re-release it in theaters. But that's going to be a stretch, man. That's going to be a strong stretch if they can push it back in theaters. I just want to listen. I want to see the man do well, but the finance committee is already calling this one, man. So looks like it's a flop, but it is what it is. Said Sam will always be Valkyrie to me. Black Panther said Sam will always be Valkyrie to me, just like Steve will always be Captain America to me. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, man, it is what it is. I just wish we could have multiple black superheroes that we can get behind, and we don't. I don't really think if Valkyrie could have done this movie by himself. No. People would have more so even said, "Oh yeah, this is not believable. He needs a serum." They didn't build him up to being dope without the serum. This film did. This film has covered his bases. If he was able to go toe to toe with the Red Hulk, this covered his bases. Now, granted, the Red Hulk, even after taking the vibrator to the chest, still got up. It could have just smashed him. Sandman had really much of nothing. So the Red Hulk's durability was off the freaking chain. But yeah, man, and I'm gonna tell you something else. I really also believe that if the film would have stayed the way it was, we wouldn't have seen it. Was gonna probably be more like Into the Spider-Verse, where Into the Spider-Verse was good, but the Captain America: Brave New World would have been bad for Sam because it wouldn't have been about him. It would have been about everybody else, padding the black lead character, and we don't need that. And so Anthony Mackie even said on the Pivot podcast that, hey, I stepped in as an executive producer because I saw Robert Downey Jr. do that in Endgame. I saw him do that in Infinity War. He made those jokers go, they was in his trailer for 2 hours. And he was like, yo, no, I'm not saying this. Y'all need to rewrite this. Do it like this. Do it like that. And so he was basically directing traffic. And so that's what made for a really good film. So anyways, man, I don't have anything else. I know our show got burnt this morning. So let me see. Maybe I have some other notes in here. Oh, the tariffs. That's right. The tariffs. So, in case you listen, if you don't buy anything, you're gonna be fine. As far as the tariffs are concerned. We're not just talking about just tariffs in general. We're talking about how the tariffs are going to interrupt comic book sales, and how it's going to mess with the monies. So what a lot of people don't realize is that how can I say this? Canada prints a lot of our paper and our comic books. They print a nice chunk of them. And we first hit them with a 25. They came back with another tariff on our head. We shot back at them, and they just recently shot back another tariff back on us. So everything is about to relatively go up. And a lot of these things might just not come back down. This might just be the new normal. So how is this going to affect the comic book industry? It's going to affect it a lot. It's going to determine, do I go out and buy these eggs that's $7, $8, or do I go out and buy this comic book that's $7, $8? Priorities. Where do your priorities lie? So be on the lookout for rising prices. If you're a casual and you don't support anything but movies, you should be fine. But if you actually support the black superheroes that you want to see in the movies, and you care about these characters by actually going out and being transactional, your wallet will be affected. It's almost guaranteed. Screen Rant has already came out with it and said that a lot of these studios, but the comic book companies are already expecting soaring prices. So get your priorities in order. Buy the books if you got some keys or some Black Panther books that you really want to get, I would go get them now. Even on the eBay aftermarket, they're going to also be spiking their prices as well. That's just what happens. That's a part of the and spike their prices as well, and it is what it is. So be prepared for that. But again, if you don't really buy nothing anyways, and you just like a casual, you just on social media, just kind of following some of the noise that goes on out there, you're fine. You're gonna save a lot of money. But a lot of pull lists, I guarantee this, a lot of pull lists are gonna basically just fade away. You're not gonna see a lot of pull lists out there as much. With people going and grabbing 6, 7, 8, 9 books a week or every 2 weeks or every month. That's not gonna happen. People are gonna prioritize their Ultimate Black Panther. I'm gonna prioritize Cap, and they're gonna probably prioritize Storm. And depends on what their money looking like. They might, But listen, Ultimate Black Panther, Cap, and Storm, that's a once a month book. That's great for us. I mean, but if you're a Spider-Man guy that's like twice a month, yeah. I mean, these prices could even hit $10. We don't know. It very well could hit $10. It's not like they haven't done that type of thing before, man. So just be honest. So with the possibility of or probability of the prices going up on new comics, do you think the back issues will go up? Back issues that are in stores, one, dollar bins ain't gonna go up. Dollar bins won't go up, but like a back issue that came out a couple of years ago, they're not gonna do no half price. I mean, they might be trying to get rid of them. I don't know. It's really gonna depend, man. It depends on what type of shop. We talk about these new shops that have a bunch of gaming and they don't really have a nice back issue. Their prices will stay the same, and they might even like mark some stuff up. They might mark up some books that they got on their back wall up. But the old school shop where they just do comics, a lot of dust is collecting, the long boxes are fall on top of each other. Those guys aren't going to go into those bins and mark them up. Now, what a lot of those guys will do is they'll go in what is that? They'll go on eBay and they'll check out current sold pricing for those things because they don't want to get robbed. They don't want to get robbed. So if there's some old school in there, some black jungle actions in there that they know they forgot that them prayers. Freaking. So anyways, man, I look like I got a crackhead coming over this. I'm in a parking lot talking. So let me get. Like I said, somebody was walking up tweaking, literally digging into the trash, walking around talking to himself, walking up close to my car, so I had to move. But yeah, man, we out of here. Hope I answered you guys' questions. Hope this video quality is much better. But I have some issues lately getting some of this stuff out. So we out of here though, man. Peace.